Yo, what's up, y'all? What's goody? What's goody? Hope you're feeling great and all that good shit. Great positive vibes, love, God, of course. Um, I'm not here to be on no bullshit. I'm not here to act. Not here to pretend. This is true TV. It's not a production. It just happens to be on camera. So this is what we're about to get into, and I just want to reach out of my heart, my soul, and the goodness of my existence through this goddamn screen and touch you. I don't know, alleged Michael Jackson shit, but you know, on some real shit, heart to heart, soul to soul, and really feel where I'm coming from. We're gonna be talking today about trauma, genetic trauma, trauma, generational trauma, and how Shahrazad Ali, who wrote the book of right here, the Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. It was a very successful book, written by Miss Ali of the Dr. Drew TV show, some nighty shit. But what she said in the interview, which was very profound, it is that we have, as a community, we've never been debriefed from slavery at all, let alone reparations. And niggas just kind of throw that aside. Bitch, motherfucker, we need reparations. We own, and this is a fact that I got from Young Furl. Check out his YouTube channel, of course. You probably already know this if you tune into this and you're aware of him. We own 0.6, 0.7% of the world's wealth. And not only he said that, but also Dr. What is his name? Oh, Dr. Claude Anderson. He was on the Breakfast Club not too long ago at the end of December of last year. You know, you can check that out. Checked out that link and that video out as well. And he was saying he was speaking on that as well. And we we are collectively, as most of us know, in a fucked up position. But it's just knowing how we got there historically to know how we move out of that presently to affect our standing in the future. That's how we progress and that's how we ascend. You know, not only economically but spiritually. You know, spiritually first, and then that will then, spiritually first, and then that will affect the outward reality because everything, as you know, it stems from inside. The inside first, and then the outside will follow suit. So that's what we'll be talking about, and that's what I will be talking about. But first, starting off with drama. So let me get into what I wrote. Thank you very much for watching. But we've been corrupted. We've been corrupted by this world, and it's time to regain our innocence. The fun and thrill it is to be alive and experience life without fear, without judgment, and without a filter. Yeah, you know, not the shit that you see on Snapchat. I mean, there's no need to edit yourself in any type of way. Be unapologetically yourself. You are perfectly, you are perfectly imperfect, and that's the beauty of life is the fact that we can make mistakes. That's the whole fucking point. But even deeper than that, and what I'm feeling now, the message is what is a mistake, and that in itself, and that notion has been perpetuated by media. That's an illusion. Mistakes are not real. I don't fit. What the fuck? What is a loss? It's a lesson, and that's real. It's not just a cute saying, my nigga. Like that's reality. That's reality. That's a fact. And I'm gonna say it again. It's not just a cute saying. That shit is real. It's reality. There's no such thing as a loss. There's only lessons. You have a divine purpose, and you here for a motherfucking reason, and you gonna live that out regardless. So live your truth. But like I was saying before, it's time to experience the fun and thrill it is to be alive and experience life without fear, without judgment, without a filter. We've normalized living in the comfort, living in the comfort. We've normalized living in the comfort of someone else's perception of who we are instead of explicitly living in the truth of whatever that truth is individually. Look at our lives. Look at what has separated us from our innocence, our love for the essence of life, not the capitalistic, consumeristic, religious, governmental, legal, escapist. For all my Netflix, Hulu, YouTube. Don't get me wrong, I'll be watching that shit too at times, but there's balance within everything we do, and you have to know the line between and discern between watching some shit and using it for escapism and to escape into a preferred reality instead of acknowledging the truth of the reality in which we are actively living in. That's what I mean by escapism. And noticing, like I said before, the separation from our innocence, our love for the essence of life, that childlike love, that childlike feeling, and not the capitalistic, consumeristic, religious, governmental, legal, escapist social structures that exist today, but the life that, but the life, the baseline, the root and foundation that allows every sense to be experienced. And I'm talking about six of them motherfuckers. Every six of your senses to be experienced in this life, and to live a life through the conduit and live life through the conduit and the medium of advancement spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally, and the ascension of the truth and the total access of the potentiality in which every life holds, and really living in that. We're just really living in that. Not imagination, but the truth of the abundance and boundless potentiality that we all have within the life, and the ascension is, like I said before, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and spiritually, that we all possess infinite and an infinity of spirit itself, and really tapping into that power that we all have and that we've been separated from. As I was saying, we have to look at these things. We have to look at the traumas we have experienced, not just in this lifetime, but the genetic traumas passed down from generations of abuse, rape of our men, our women, lynching, working our muscles off the bone. And that's a fact. Working our muscles off the bone. Being fed as crocodile bait, bruh. Hunted as a profession. Don't get me wrong, we fought ourselves out of this shit. Look at the Gullah Wars. We took them niggas' necks off. We took their face off. We took their head off their fucking shoulders. We wasn't having that shit. That's why I said, like, peace, yeah, we'll get there one day. But we cannot get peace by asking for peace. Asking for peace. And asking to stop oppression. And asking our oppressors to stop oppression. We're not gonna get peace by asking. What the fuck? I can't even say this shit again because it don't make no motherfucking sense. What are you talking about? What? You gonna ask the niggas that's been oppressing us to stop oppressing us? They treated us as vermin. Whipped us, castrated and manipulated, coerced to breed with the very same devil that took our ancestors captive. I'm not done yet. Forced to breed with our own family members and treated as product on an assembly line, which is where they got the term motherfucker from. Let that resonate. And also, another brilliant channel to check out is Dan Calloway, who also holds an abundance of information when it comes to the historical facts in which we originate and come from and we had to live through. We had our arms taken hand in hand, leg in leg, tied to horses by rope and torn apart. Are you listening? Do I have your attention? Because I'm not done yet. Our children put in electric chairs and beaten to death. Our communities wiped out. Churches bombed. Children killed mercilessly. Hosed down. Dogs sicked on us, spit on. And this is just a few of the many, of the multitude of examples of physical torture infringed upon our ancestors. Our fucking community not acknowledging this and not tapping into the information historically that we have been through is the same as your children looking you in your eye that you love unconditionally and saying fuck you. And saying fuck you. Fuck you. I don't need you. I don't need the hurt, the resilience, the perseverance, the strive and the power and the drive that you had to endure. I don't need that to get through what they got through. I don't need that. I'm good. I'm Gucci. The centuries of fighting. You don't need that. That's what we saying when we don't research. That's what we saying when we don't acknowledge the truth and acknowledge the climate socially and not only politically, scientifically, genetically, the climate within ourselves, emotionally and spiritually, and what we had to endure because of the genocide in which we endured. This is real, and I'm not saying that shit to prove anything anymore. It is because it is. What the fuck are you worried about? Your fucking bills, nigga? When they had to worry about their freedom, and we still are worried about our freedom, but we have none. So much so that we have been brainwashed and indoctrinated and conditioned to believe that we have. That's the trick, and that's what's dangerous. Because of the misinformation and confusion, we're easier to manipulate, and you see that right now, while we cannot organize, because we have been displaced in our diaspora. I don't believe in the community because we don't have one anymore. I do believe in us, though, that we can create. A musician said that we make everything and they just take it. It's cool because we just gonna make something else. And that's what it is. We make it and they patent it. We create it and they take it. Oh yeah, y'all can keep doing that until we fight the fuck back. And that's what will happen. It has. History has a tendency to repeat itself. But you have to realize what you're reading. Is it history or his story? Is it the truth or what they told you? Is it real or is it fake? Most likely the latter if you grew up in the USA. And if you grew up listening to the United States educational curriculum. Most likely. As stated before, that was an example of the physical torture waged upon our people. We have yet to even mention the mental, psychological, and social disrespect, degradation we've endured and we're enduring till this day. We have to detoxify ourselves from presumed authorities and authoritative figures we have to detoxify ourselves from presumed authorities and authoritative figures that have embedded the psychological constructs in our minds of how to be, how to live, how to do, where to live, where we should be, and when to live. That's an illusion perpetuated by them, and them being Euros and Eurocentric ideology and the thought process and the preconceived notions and mind control brainwash of European and Eurocentric belief systems. Negropeans. Everybody that's black ain't black. You feel me? And at the same time, because on every scale of polarity is the other side of the extremity and other side of the extreme. And I don't even want to say it, but it is the truth. You feel me? Everybody that's black ain't black now. Well, historically too. But everybody that's white ain't. Look, trying to pick my words carefully. I ain't gonna say ain't racist. But they aren't supremacist in their belief system. I say that, but I also say, and I repeat what Muhammad Ali said in the analogy that he used. There's 3,000 snakes. And out of those 3,000, there are 1,000 of them that are good. and that want to save me. Now, of those 3,000 snakes that are trying to get me, am I going to pray that the good 1,000, or the solid 1,000, the non-supremacist 1,000 are going to save me? Or I'm going to close the door on all of them motherfucking snakes? We're closing the door on all of them. Because as I said, as far as asking your oppressor to stop oppressing for freedom, no. Create our own. And that's what we're going to do. Cool. So back to the detoxification of these conditions that we received through governmental power, law and order, judicial and constitutional standards that are not upheld by the very governing bodies that produce them. And one more time, detoxifying ourselves from the Eurocentric indoctrination through governmental power, law and order, judicial and constitutional standards that are not upheld by the very governing bodies that produce them. Television and all the programs that encompasses television, TV shows, movies, advertisement, marketing, which purpose is shrouded in deception. Its purpose is to convince you to purchase, give energy to something you don't need. And I'm going to also throw the link in The Century Itself, where it definitely breaks that down as far as a century ago, us purchasing in our relationship economically with the market was in the spirit and in the sense of buying items that were pragmatic and practical, not because we want them, and how they transition from that to feeding us and marketing to us from a place of emotional wants and emotional needs, and tying items to emotional desires, when while in the same manipulating the desire in itself, using dark psychology to influence you into buying their product. And they still do it to this day, which is why you see extra chewing gum commercials when they have advertisements about teenagers in high school making motherfucking love mementos out of the chewing gum foil. What the fuck do that have to do with chewing gum? Anyway, but the next episode, I'm going to dive into how we can decompress and also release these structures and constructs from our psyche, and live and spiritually, mentally, psychologically liberate ourselves from these forms of manipulation that have been passed down through media, propaganda, and various nefarious agendas. That's it. Thank you. And have a loved field day. That was a good one, I know.